Our focus today, folding. Forward bends, standing, seated, just folding. So if you were ever told that forward bending was not good for you, this is probably a practice I'd want you to skip. But there are so many benefits to forward bending, and we'll talk about a few of those as we go through. Let's first warm up with some slow suns. Soft knees, arms reach open. Prayer hands together. Fold forward, our first fold in our practice. Here we're trying to lengthen the spine. We're trying to let those side muscles just soften so our spine elongates. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, palms to the mat, step back, high plank. Elbows tight, chaturanga. Follow through, up, shoulders back and down. And downward facing dog. Fully pressing palm into the mat, engaging each breath, guiding it to the ribs, to the belly, to the back. Look up, walk or hop those feet forward on your mat. Come halfway up. Hopefully you feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Another benefit of those forward folds. Deepen your fold. Float those arms out to the side. Inhale, up, overhead. Prayer hands down in front of the heart. Pose of attention. Let's go again. Inhale, arms up, overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Dropping the head, creating as much length in that neck as you can. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, palms to the mat, step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Bring it up. Exhale, down dog. Feel the breath. Hear the breath. And finally, guide the breath. Belly, ribs, chest, hips. Look up. Walk or jump those feet forward, halfway up. Exhale, deep fold. Once more, float those arms up overhead. Prayer hands down in front of the heart. One more. Inhale up. Exhale, swan. Inhale, length. Exhale, plank. Chaturanga up. Exhale, down dog. Look up between your hands. Open those shoulders. Walk or jump those feet forward. As you come halfway up this time, stop halfway up. Micro bend in the knees, hips really pressing backwards. Peace fingers. We're going to open those shoulders. We're going to hook those toes. The toes will push down as we pull up and separate through the shoulders here. What we're looking for is a nice L shape from our heel to our hip to our shoulder, an upside down L shape here. Inhale, exhale, and now we're going to draw those ribs down towards the floor, and starting with your sacrum at your hips, all the way down to the crown of your head, imagine everything just letting go to the base of your mat. So we have a nice little tug of war with our hips and the crown of our head, and then that breath. First, engage it. Next, hear it.
and finally guide it from belly to ribs. Release those fingertips, bend those knees, reverse our swan, come all the way up, and pray our hands down. We calm the central nervous system when we do those forward bends and come back to neutral here. And allow that to happen in your practice. Open those arms, shoulders soft, knees bent, hips back. A little back bend. Counter pose from those forward bends that we're going to do. Swan dive forward, fingertips down. Inhale, nice flat back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, walk or jump to plank. Knees, chest, chin are full. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. That right leg is going to come high to the sky. Step it through on your mat. Inhale, rise up. But then we're going to focus with another forward bend. Straighten that leg. Reach to me. Fold the fingertips down as you straddle that right knee. If you forgot to put your yoga app on, put your yoga app on. It kind of helps me know how long I've been taping for, because I can get carried away sometimes. Press that right hip back. Reach that spine over that right thigh. You may be feeling your right hamstring right now. Bend that right knee, vinyasa or down dog. You can choose how you want to flow or not in the practice. Skipping those flows still gives you the benefit of all these forward bends today. Left leg high. Step it through on the back mat. Inhale, rise. Are forward bends good for everybody? Not necessarily. Make sure that you don't have anything going on in your spine. Hinge forward, lower down. Pull that left hip back, nose toward the toes. Settle in. Bend that left knee. Once again, our vinyasa or down dog. So our vinyasa is giving us a counter pose every time with that upward facing dog. So if you are skipping that vinyasa and going right to down dog, can you drop your knees and give me a little Gomukhasana? Listen, I don't think this is Gomukhasana as part of it, but lifting, cow, cow, cat, and cow. Have to check in with Mary on my Sanskrit poses. Downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. And look up, walk or jump forward on your mat. Come halfway up. This time, the palm will slide fully beneath the sole of the foot. Shoulders spread. Push into the hands as you dip that head low to the mat. When you breathe in, can you push your hips high? When you exhale, can you keep the hips there, but let the ribs and the head soften? Think long through the chin and neck. Release those palms. Soften at the knees. Come, chair pose. And prayer. Now I'm going to have you step open nice and wide on your mat with the edges of the feet parallel. I'm going to face you as we go through this series.
Starting first, hands to the hips, Ashtanga style. These forward bends. Push the hips back. Hands remain on the hips, and I use them as a guide to keep pushing the hips high and letting that head sink low. Notice I'm staying 3 to 5 breaths in every pose and having you really focus on first engaging your breath, then hearing it, and then guiding it through that back body. Inhale, come halfway up. If you are locking those knees, create a little micro bend. Peace fingers, so those shoulders open, elbows out. Pull up on the toes to lower those ribs towards the mat. Push the hips high. Release those fingertips, come halfway up. This time, open those arms, take them behind the back, bring them up and over the head, reaching for the floor in front of you. Engage the breath. Hear the breath. Guide the breath. Release those palms down to the mat for our final fold here. First, lengthen. When I say lengthen, I mean lift those hips up, forward with the shoulders, and lower the crown of the head down. Those of you that love inversions, great time to do a straddle inversion. Otherwise, walk those hands back. Lower that head as far towards the mat as you can get it. Inhale, look up, soften the knees, our goddess pose to rise, and then heels and toes in until we are together. Step forward on that mat. Little counter pose here, back bending. I want you to hook those thumbs, dive to the back of your mat. Keep that left hand to the sky. Draw that right knee to the hand. Hang on to that ankle. Balance with me. Lower down. Inhale. Opposite foot up. Opposite arm up. And extend. Lower that foot down to the mat, pedal it out. Soft knees, inhale, rise up, we flow to come to our seated positions. Swan dive forward, fingertips down. Inhale, nice flat back. Exhale that forward fold, walk or jump. Knees, chest, chin, full, chaturanga. Up. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to be coming to a seated position, so lower the knees and step forward, or hop those feet through. Finding the sit bones. First, Paschimottanasana.
Shoulders back, hips down, peace fingers to the toes, or palms to the outer edges of the feet. Now, as we're lifting up, as we're connecting here, I want you to feel like I'm pushing the hips down, but lifting the rib cage up as you take that breath. Ready? Draw the rib cage forward. I was doing a practice the other night, and I was doing a forward bend and realizing how tight my low back and my hips were. And it was what inspired me to do some forward bending. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Go again. Can you go deeper? Maybe you touch your toes, maybe, or maybe you can come around to the front this time. Counterposing with our reverse plank, you can literally just lift up those ribs or lift the hips up right up into the air, pushing those toes forward. And lowering down, moving to one side of our body right now. Right sole of the foot in. Draw that left hip up and back and reach, hinge forward. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Guide that breath, guide it into your low belly, into your back. Up tall, option to counterpose. Now you can just switch sides. I'm going to add a little vinyasa in for my practice today, in between sides. And then join me here. Sole of the foot in, hips down. Inhale up and exhale, fold. So often back pain comes from tight hamstrings. And this practice is going to be a go-to when those hamstrings are tight. I hope. Counterpose. Seated pose or vinyasa. Bring those feet back through again here. Pull those sit bones back. Soles of the feet to the mat, hands forward, hinging. Another forward bend right here. So your body may not look quite like that. It might look like this. You may need a block right here, but we're just hinging forward. To start with, my back is slightly rounded. When I round my back, I'm going to be working in those kidneys. When I begin to straighten it, it's going to pull on those hamstrings. So just go to your level. Elbows can come under, arms can reach. And for those of you that can send those feet out and work into those 3 breaths. Stay into that pose for a moment unless you want a little bit of a challenge. Titibhasana is a forward bend. Soles of the feet come together. Cup the fingertips over those toes and pull the belly towards those feet. Counterposing, hands behind, lift. Setting the hips back down to the mat, pressing the heels out, wall to wall. Reach just side to side, and then once again, those fingertips forward, forward fold. Let your body move to a place that's sweetly comfortable. So you want a little extra stretch, but no pain. Inhale, walk those hands back. Draw the feet together. Pull the hips towards the heels. Option 1. So anytime we bend at the torso, we're getting our forward bend. So while we don't quite feel like we're bending here, when those knees pull in, this is another forward bend. If you'd like to increase it, grab peace fingers to the toes and extend up and over into your plow. That's like a seated forward bend, but we're bringing the hips above the heart. Support your low back with your hands coming into a shoulder stand. For those of you that prefer, just bring the feet directly up into the air with your back still on the ground. Counterposing with our bridge pose or full back bend if you want to. Hands can come to the side, can take the ankles, can go overhead, or full wheel pose. As you lower down to your mat, grab peace fingers to the toes, move into your happy baby pose, straightening one leg and then the other. Draw those knees together, place the soles of the feet on the floor. Open the arms in a T position. Let the knees come slightly to the right. Take a breath. Slightly to the left. Up and over. Take a breath. Back to neutral. Two options here. You can just start your Shavasana. For those of you that know fish pose, if you'd like to come into your version of fish pose, just to counterpose all of those forward bends. And then release, my friends. Lay your body down on your mat. Let your heart be open. Close your eyes. Go back to your breath. As you hear my voice, take a moment and determine if you still want to lay right there, and if so, just tune me out or shut me off. But if you're ready, bring those heels towards the body. Squeeze the knees towards the chest as you rock on those hips and back. And then guide yourself back up to a seated position on your mat. Ooh. Finishing our practice always with gratitude that we can fold forward, that we can move our bodies, and that we have a practice for every need each day. Namaste. Thank you. Hope those felt great in your body.